Hey, welcome everybody. It is Tuesday morning. It's 8 o'clock and it's time for Trash Talk. And here we are. And
Yeah.
Brandon's off on a remote location and all, but hey, we're still here. We still got trash around us.
Yeah, we're gonna try to make this work today, guys.
Yeah. We always find a way to make it work. And that's what Trash Talk is all about, trying to make it work.
That's true. That's true.
And we've been trying for years.
Oh yeah, I know. You
Hey,
gotta forgive me, guys. I'm dragging. I've been sick the last like several days, so been real sick. Like this is like probably the most activity I've done in like 3 days. So
yeah, and when you're finished with this, the head's going to hit the dashboard, and boom, you're
I
gone.
know. Yeah, it's rough. So
Hey, I was thinking about schooling. I got into a discussion with my grandson about it. And of course, every time you ask a kid, "How's everything at school?" "Oh, fine." What are you learning? This and that. You don't get much out of them. And I got to thinking about. I have a friend whose kid was not fitting into the public school system, and he decided to pull them out and homeschool them.
okay.
And I mean, I think there's lots of pros and cons to homeschooling. Uh,
Sure.
Number one, if your kid is disruptive in a public school, then probably homeschooling might be an option to get to separate them from that location. But have you? I mean, you're a single dad. Would you ever, and how could you, if you did, consider homeschooling for Luke?
Man, I don't even think that would be something that would be possible. Like, number one, I don't think it'd be good for him, to be honest with you. I think it would have more of like an effect, like a negative effect, because of how social he is and how much he's learned from being social. I mean,
Right.
for a while there, when he grew up, I mean, he had his older sisters, but then, they go to school, they go to college, he didn't have a lot of interaction with a bunch of kids. So, and then, of course, the pandemic hit. Well, then we went through a good year of like just him and me.
Every
So,
every kid basically was homeschooled then.
yeah, and in that aspect, I think the positives were his vocabulary is amazing, and I think that has a lot to do with the fact of number one, how we talk to him, but number two, the people he's around,
Yeah.
what he picks up. So that was great. But then some of his fine motor skills, some little things took a little bit longer because he just never did them. His social interaction wasn't an issue, but it took a while where some kids jump right into it. He was like, man, I'm going to kick back for a minute and then I'll jump in. So
Yeah.
I don't know if homeschool is the best thing for him. And I got to be honest with you, unless my job meant I could work from home, or I mean, because even his mom doesn't work from home. So like, what are we? How's that going to be possible?
Right. Well, that's one of the major considerations, and they say one of the cons to homeschooling is the fact that one parent or something is going to probably have to give up their regular job or so in order to do it. I mean, the upside to homeschooling is it doesn't necessarily have to be 5 days a week. You could say,
True.
okay, we're gonna homeschool Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So, mom or dad can then go to work on Tuesday and Thursday or whatever. You can vary the schedule. The learning schedule is flexible. The kid doesn't have to be at school at a certain time every day. So that's one of the pros. The con is all of a sudden you have to change the schedule. You don't stick to it because the boss calls and says, "I need you to come in an extra day." Oh, well, that was the day I was supposed to be homeschooling my child. Now I'm going to have to put that on hold. But the
Yeah,
number,
that's the other thing too.
yeah,
Scheduling is so important for kids, man.
Right. Yeah. To form some kind of a structure. And also, so, if the parent is good enough at being structured, if it's a stay-at-home uh mom, raising the kids, there might be options, especially if you live in a rural area. Instead of having to take the child, back and forth to school, sometimes homeschooling is advantageous. But really, I think the number one consideration is that social interaction. The child gives up social interaction, uh, be it learning, be it just out on the playground interaction. Sports is out the window because a child can't be in organized sports or extracurricular activities if they're homeschooled. Uh,
Well, I mean, there's
unless they do
options
it,
for kids.
yeah, unless they go to a park district or something and get involved in a program that way.
Yeah, you could do that. I've known quite a few or met quite a few in my lifetime homeschool kids, and I think I think it all depends. Now, there's a handful of homeschool kids that I met that I'm like, yep, you are homeschooled. I can tell, you know.
Right.
Um, and I think that's like a huge disservice. Um,
Yes.
because I see them interact at a job and I see them, they're a little, I'm going to say it, a little behind on the social awareness, on
Right.
societal awareness,
Yeah.
on challenges that face them.
I
But
think, yeah, I think you're right. I think they become a little more introverted. And perhaps if they're homeschooled, they are better off doing some kind of an office job than they are a public, interaction with people because they're not used to interacting with people.
absolutely. And then I've seen the opposite side where I'm like, you know what? I wouldn't have been able to tell unless you told me, you know? So I really just, but then again, I think that comes down to the parents too.
Right.
I mean, what are the parents' commitments to truly homeschooling their kids and making sure they get an education and preparing them to leave the house?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if it's the mom that stays at home to
That's the
homeschool.
big issue. So,
Yeah, if mom is home and homeschooling the kids, and she maybe had studied education, teaching, she's better apt to do it. I mean, there are programs, homeschool programs that somebody can do, but you have to have that commitment, and you have to have the structure, and you got to set up a schedule and stick to it.
yeah, I think it's a lot more of a challenge than people realize.
Yeah. And I think that there probably are too many people that may decide to homeschool because the kid is being bullied at school or so, and they got issues at school, and the school is not taking care of the issues. So they say, well, we're just going to have to pull our child out and homeschool them. And sometimes they make the decision for the wrong reasons. Uh,
Exactly. And what does that show the kid? What does that show the kid? Like, whenever something bad happens, I'm going to pull you out.
right,
I'm going to be there. And look, I'm not saying that there isn't, sometimes there are those circumstances that maybe a situation is really bad and you have no other, like, I know those exist, but I think those are far and few and in between. Now, and I think if it is a bully situation, then I think there's other options. I think that there's options to where you can move that kid out of that district. You can make that happen.
right,
You can sit there or be a parent and let's go whoop some ass. Like, let's just get down to it. Cause I got to be honest with you. If my kid's getting so bullied that he's thinking about leaving the school, I'm going to go knock some skulls. That's going to happen, you know?
right, right. Yeah, that's it. Don't remove the child from the situation. Remove the bully from the
Remove the
situation.
situation. Yeah. And if I don't get the backup of the administration or the principal or anything, I'll take care of them too. I'm not worried about it.
Right, right. Yeah. No, one of the other when I was doing a little bit of research on this, one of the advantages they said for homeschooling, which I thought was kind of cool, is the ability to have field trips. In other words, if you're trying to teach the child history, you might be able to say, I'll tell you what, tomorrow we're going to go to the history museum
True, true.
and learn it for firsthand instead of sitting in a structured room and reading it out of a book. So that can be a plus to it.
Well, you definitely got the flexibility. You
Yeah,
got flexibility.
yeah. Homework is another issue too. I mean, at home, there's probably no homework because you're doing it as you're going along. But today, I'm not sure how many kids that have homework. My grandson doesn't bring homework home at all from school. Everything is on his tablet. They do everything at school.
I don't know. I mean, personally, I think homework is I'll be honest with you. I think homework's bullcrap. You have my kid 5 days a week for almost 8 hours a day. I work 40 plus hours a week. You want to give my kid homework so he can have an extra hour or two, a couple days a week to take from me when I'm trying to spend time with my kid. There's no reason there's no reason they should have homework.
I never thought about that because I remember when we had homework very often, Mom, Dad, I need some help. And so
Now I got to spend time, right?
Yeah.
Now I got to spend time. I don't mind helping my kid. I don't mind helping Luke learn. We write. Matter of fact, we had a writing situation last night. It was not fun, but we read. I've been teaching him how to read with the school stuff. So we practice the important things, but I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, you got homework. Now I got to waste 2 hours of my time. I got one day off this week or maybe 2 days off this week. And one of those days you
Right.
have school. So how am I going to get to see you? You know?
Right. Right. And also
Yeah.
you're sitting there and you're trying to do all the homework and the kid says, Dad, I just spend all day at school and all, can't we
I don't want to
go
do it.
out for ice cream or
Yeah.
something? Yeah.
Or not do this, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's like going to work. That's a concept of going to work for 8 hours and you go home every day and work 2 hours on your emails, unpaid.
Right.
I ain't doing that crap.
There has been nationwide a spike in homeschooling and almost across the board, COVID is the reason why it is increased in popularity, is because all the kids were forced to stay at home and do virtual schooling. So they were being schooled at home, even though it was on a video. And a lot of parents and a lot of kids said, I like that better than having to go to school.
Yeah,
And
because it's easy, because it was easy.
it was a
There
shortcut.
were, we were not learning. Look, the COVID restrictions and the COVID, everything that happened set us back dramatically. What it did to those children is we will find out years to come.
Right.
From
The
a
next
social
generation.
level,
Yeah.
yes, a social level, a mental level, anxiety, a health level. We're seeing that. We're seeing some of that now. So those kids that preferred video, it's because they could sit there, do nothing in their jammies, watch the video, push a button, and go next. Here's your diploma. They didn't learn anything.
Yeah. And they could do it at their own rate sometimes too.
Dude, I had to take a test for my training the other day.
Yeah.
You know what I did? I put the video on play on my phone, hit mute, watched Netflix. When it was done, took the quiz. I don't even know what it was. I don't even care because I got a 90%. I'm good. Next. I don't even care. That's what these kids are doing. I promise you.
Well, what one thing is for sure is that this show is not homeschooled.
No,
Although if you're sitting at home and watching this show, then maybe you are homeschooled.
true.
Of course, if you're sitting at home having coffee and watching trash talk, then get a life.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of coffee, I have not had coffee in 3 days.
Oh my gosh, how are you still
I
functioning?
know. Look, I told you, man, I lost a lot of weight. Luke and I both got sick, and I'm going to tell you right now, it was not a good one bathroom house and a trash can next to the bed. Not a fun situation, man.
It's it's
I'm over here. I'm trying to take care of a poor little kid who doesn't know what's going on, and I'm like face melting. I'm drooling, and
like
I'm like, buddy, I'm dying over here.
like something from a bad sci-fi movie.
It's been rough. This is my first day out in public, man. Let me tell you.
It's your first day out in public, and there you are sitting in the car in a parking lot.
I don't even want to go inside to work right now. I don't. Thank God I'm off tomorrow.
All right. Well, grab yourself a coffee or something so you can wake up before you go to work.
I'm scared. All right.
All right. We'll catch you again next week, same time. Go out and make it a good one. Bye.